Imagine this: you're sitting across from a woman you care about. She leans in, eyes wide, telling you about her last relationship, the fights, the late night screaming matches, the broken promises. She shakes her head, laughs it off, and says, "But I guess I like the excitement." At first, you think she's just being honest. But later, when you start noticing how she stirs up arguments out of nowhere, how she pulls back right when things feel steady, you realize something darker: she's addicted to chaos. And the more you try to bring peace, the more restless she becomes. That's when it hits you: your calm is not enough. She doesn't crave stability. She craves the storm. This is where most men get blindsided. You assume women want what you want: safety, loyalty, consistency. You think that by being the stable rock, the one who never wavers, you'll earn her love. But some women are wired differently. They are not at home in silence. They need the adrenaline rush of uncertainty, the roller coaster of drama. They equate chaos with passion, conflict with love. And if you don't feed that cycle, they will provoke it themselves, just to feel alive. Here's the trap: when she withdraws affection, when she suddenly acts cold, when she throws out a random insult that doesn't match the situation, your instinct is to chase, to explain, to fix. You think, if I can just calm her down, she'll see I care. But that's exactly how she hooks you. She sets the fire, you rush in with water, and now you're stuck in her loop. The more you give, the less she respects you. The more you try to prove you're steady, the more she tests you with instability. You become her emotional punching bag, and she calls it love. You've probably seen this play out. Maybe she went quiet for 2 days without explanation, and you blew up her phone asking if everything was okay. Or maybe she accused you of not caring when all you did was take a night to focus on yourself. Each time, you scramble to prove your devotion. But here's the truth: she doesn't want resolution. Resolution kills the high. She wants escalation. She wants the chase. And by giving it to her, you reinforce her addiction. The psychology is brutal, but simple, intermittent reinforcement. The same principle that makes people gamble their lives away in casinos is at work in her emotional games. A slot machine doesn't pay out every time you pull. You lose. You pull again. And once in a while, jackpot. That unpredictability wires the brain with dopamine. She learned, often from childhood, that love feels like inconsistency: warmth, then distance, attention, then withdrawal. So when you're steady, she gets bored. When you mirror her chaos, she feels alive. It's sick, but it works on her nervous system like a drug. So how do you protect yourself? The first move is awareness. You must stop believing that her withdrawal means you failed. It's not about you. It's her addiction to volatility. When she pulls back, do nothing. Don't chase. Don't explain. Don't apologize for things you didn't do. Indifference is your weapon. Chaos feeds on your reaction. The less you respond, the faster she burns through her own storm and comes back, if she's truly interested at all. If she doesn't return, you've just saved yourself years of emotional destruction. The second move is boundaries. Chaos seekers hate boundaries because it kills their game. When she tries to bait you into a fight over nothing, you don't argue, you walk away. When she withdraws for days, you don't beg, you match the distance. When she tests you with jealousy, you don't compete, you shrug. You are not her circus. You are not her audience. The moment you stop dancing to her rhythm, she either adapts or she exits. Both are wins for you. And the hardest part, resisting your own craving. Because once you've been pulled into this dynamic, chaos becomes addictive for you too. You start associating drama with passion. You start thinking that silence means something's wrong, that peace means she's losing interest. This is how men become prisoners of toxic love by mistaking intensity for intimacy. You must detox. You must learn to sit in calm without rushing to manufacture sparks. That's where your real strength shows. Now, I want you to think honestly about yourself. Have you ever been in a situation where the more you tried to calm things down, the worse they got? Did you notice how her silence or sudden withdrawal drove you crazy? Even though you knew you hadn't done anything wrong, which part of you was hooked your heart or your ego trying to win the unwinnable game? And most importantly, what would you do differently if it happened again tomorrow? Some women will never admit it, but what keeps them hooked isn't love, it's tension. They need that constant push and pull. The feeling that the ground could give way at any second. And if you look back carefully, you'll see the signs were there from the start. The way she loved telling stories about her crazy ex, the way her eyes lit up when she recalled a wild fight, like it was a badge of honor, the way she would create problems out of thin air when everything was going smoothly. At first, you dismissed it as quirks, maybe even passion, but it wasn't passion, it was her addiction whispering through every move. You need to understand something crucial. Chaos gives her power. If she can throw you off balance, she controls the pace of the relationship. When you're confused, you become predictable, you chase, you reassure, you over-explain, and the moment you start explaining yourself to someone who's provoking you on purpose, you've already lost ground. Think about the last time she suddenly acted cold for no reason. Did you feel that knot in your chest? That panic rising? You probably went into damage control mode, saying things like, "Are you mad at me? Did I do something wrong? I didn't mean to upset you." And each time you spoke, she grew more powerful, not because she was right, but because you were scrambling while she was calm. Here's the psychology behind it: control through withdrawal. In healthy relationships, affection is consistent disagreements don't erase basic respect or care. But in her world, affection is a tool. She gives it to you when you play along, and she withholds it when she wants you to bend. It's the same tactic used in interrogation rooms, cults, and even sales. Hook someone with warmth, then yank it away until they beg to have it back. It works because humans fear loss more than we value gain. She knows if she pulls back, your mind will obsess over what went wrong, and you'll bend over backwards to fix it even if nothing was broken in the first place. So how do you dismantle this game? You stop reacting. The moment you realize she's withholding affection to test or control you, you freeze her out. Don't chase. Don't demand answers. Don't get angry. Anger is still a reaction, and she feeds off any reaction. Instead, carry on as if nothing happened. Focus on your work, your friends, your fitness. Post a photo of you enjoying your life, not as a performance, but because your life cannot shrink to fit her drama. What happens next is predictable. She'll either escalate trying harder to pull you back into a storm, or she'll crumble and return to you on her own. Either way, you've broken her script. Another trap you must avoid is over-investing emotionally too soon. Chaos-seeking women thrive on men who pour in 100% right away because it gives them leverage. If you're texting her paragraphs while she's giving you one-word replies, you've already handed her the upper hand. If you're cancelling your plans to see her while she casually reschedules on you, you're signaling that her chaos dictates your priorities. The correction is simple: match her investment, not her potential. If she's giving you 50, you give 50. If she's giving 0, you give 0. It's not about playing games. It's about refusing to bankroll a relationship that only exists on your energy. You'll feel the temptation to prove yourself, to show her you're different, more patient, more loyal than the toxic men she used to date. But that's the ultimate bait. The more you try to prove, the more she tests, and the cycle never ends. The truth is, You don't prove your worth through chasing, you prove it through restraint. You prove it by being unshaken when she stirs chaos. You prove it by holding your line, not collapsing into hers. Real men don't fight to keep chaos around. They let chaos disqualify itself. Now here's the deeper shift you need to make. Stop equating her chaos with value. Some part of you might secretly enjoy the roller coaster because it makes the highs feel intoxicating. But intensity is not intimacy. Chaos is not passion. Stability doesn't mean boring, it means healthy. And until you rewire that belief in yourself, you'll keep falling for the women who drain you, while dismissing the women who could actually stand beside you without turning love into a battlefield. Think back. Have you ever mistaken drama for love just because it felt intense? Did you ignore the quiet, steady woman who genuinely cared because she didn't give you the same adrenaline spikes? And right now, are you chasing someone who keeps pulling away, thinking if you just hold on long enough, the chaos will settle? Or are you ready to admit that chaos doesn't settle? It consumes. The deeper you go into this cycle, the more it rewires your brain. Chaos begins to feel normal. You start expecting the arguments, the sudden silences, the late-night texts that flip from sweet to venomous in seconds. And instead of seeing it for what it is, a trap, you begin to mistake it for love. You tell yourself, every relationship has ups and downs, but deep inside, you know these aren't just downs. These are deliberate crashes, engineered to keep you hooked. Because as soon as you try to walk away, she reels you back in with affection so intense it erases every memory of pain. That's the bait. That's how she keeps you addicted. This is why so many men feel drained yet can't leave. One day she's calling you the best thing that's ever happened to her. The next day she's cold, distant, or even cruel. And when you finally get fed up, she melts into your arms, crying, telling you she can't live without you. That swing between cruelty and tenderness floods your system with dopamine, the same chemical that keeps gamblers glued to slot machines. Your nervous system gets hooked, not on her, but on the unpredictability. It's not love, it's chemical warfare disguised as romance. And here's the brutal part. The more you give in, the weaker you become. She's not just testing if you'll chase, she's watching how far she can push you. Will you cancel your plans just to prove you care? Will you apologize for things you didn't do just to keep the peace? Will you beg for her affection even after she withholds it deliberately? Every time you fold, she learns you're easy to control. And once she knows that, the chaos only escalates. She'll push harder, disappear longer, accuse louder because now she knows you'll always run back. But you don't have to play that game. The strategy is not to out-chaos her, it's to refuse the battlefield altogether. When she tries to bait you into a fight, don't fight, step back. When she withdraws, don't chase, let the silence stretch. When she throws accusations without cause, don't defend, demand clarity. And if she can't give it, disengage. The man who doesn't flinch when chaos hits is the man she cannot control. And if she can't control you, she'll either shift her behavior or leave. Either way, you win. Another key move is recentering your own life. Chaos thrives when your world revolves around her. If every text from her determines your mood, you're already captured. You must anchor yourself in something larger, your mission, your work, your fitness, your friends. That way, when she pulls away, it's not a free fall for you. You have other pillars holding you steady. And here's the paradox. The less you cling to her storm, the more magnetic you become. She may not admit it, but women respect men who cannot be shaken. When you show her that her chaos doesn't dictate your state, you shatter the entire illusion she's built around control. But let me warn you, this isn't easy. There will be nights when you want to break the silence. when your chest aches for her approval, when you'd rather argue than sit in uncertainty. That's the withdrawal. That's your brain begging for the dopamine hit. And it's in those moments you must remind yourself every time you cave, you reinforce the pattern. Every time you hold the line, you weaken the hold chaos has on you. Discipline is the detox. Indifference is the cure. And there's one more truth you need to face. Some women will never choose peace. No matter what you do, they will chase drama until it burns them out completely. You cannot save them. You cannot love them into stability. The best you can do is see the pattern early and step away before you lose years of your life trying to fix what was never yours to fix. Because the longer you stay, the more you start resembling the broken men she's used to, and that's how you lose yourself. So now the question is for you. Have you ever caught yourself chasing her approval even when you knew she was baiting you? Did you ever realize that her sudden affection after a fight wasn't love, but a reset to keep you hooked? And right now, if she pulled away for days, could you sit in silence? Or would you crumble and reach out first? The scariest part of chaos-driven relationships isn't just the fights or the games, it's what they do to your identity. Over time, you stop recognizing yourself. You were once confident, steady, clear-headed. Now you catch yourself walking on eggshells, second-guessing every word you say, obsessing over whether she'll be warm or cold when she texts. You think you're loving her, but really, you're managing her moods. And when a man spends his life managing a woman's chaos, he stops leading his own life. That's the hidden cost. It's not just the arguments, it's the erosion of your core. You see, women who are addicted to chaos know one thing very well: how to make you doubt yourself. They'll twist reality until you question your own memory. Maybe she accused you of ignoring her when you were literally with her all weekend. Maybe she claimed you don't communicate, even though your phone shows 10 unanswered messages you sent. This is gaslighting, but it doesn't feel like gaslighting when you're in it. It feels like maybe you did miss something. Maybe you weren't enough. Maybe she's right. And the moment you start accepting her version of reality over your own, you're no longer in control. You've handed her the keys to your perception. The antidote is brutal honesty with yourself. When she throws out accusations, don't argue with her, check the facts for yourself. Write things down if you have to. Hold your ground in your memory. If you know you did right, you don't need her validation. And if she can't respect the truth, you don't bend your reality to fit hers. Chaos loses its power when you stop surrendering your perception. But let's get tactical again. Because knowing isn't enough. You need action. When she withdraws, your job is not to chase, but to observe. Ask yourself, is this silence about me? Or is it her craven drama if you did nothing wrong? You do nothing now. When she accuses you without proof, don't try to convince her otherwise, ask her for evidence. And if she can't provide it, you don't waste breath defending. You hold the line: if you can't respect me enough to be truthful, I'm not engaging in this. That's power, not shouting, not proving, not begging, just refusal to be dragged into her theater. Here's the paradox: she doesn't want you to see the calmer you remain, the more chaotic she becomes. Why? Because her game depends on you spiraling with her. If you don't play, she panics. She either has to escalate to extremes or back down. And if she escalates, she exposes herself. You see her not as a passionate lover, but as a chaos addict. That's when the illusion breaks. You stop seeing her as a queen who must be pleased and start seeing her as a storm that must be avoided. That shift is the beginning of freedom. Now, I know what you're thinking. But what if walking away means losing her brother? If keeping her means losing yourself? That's not love, that's slavery. You don't lose when you let go of chaos. You gain back your time, your energy, your mind. And the truth is, a woman who thrives on chaos will never give you peace, no matter how much you sacrifice. The best outcome is always the same. She either learns to meet your calm, or she leaves to find another man willing to drown in her storms. And both outcomes free you. The real test is not how you handle her good days, it's how you handle her storms. Most men can enjoy the highs, the affection, the passionate nights, but only a man with discipline can withstand the lows without breaking. And here's the secret: when you can walk away in the middle of chaos without flinching, without begging, without folding, you become untouchable. Because the man who can lose her and still stand tall is the man who can't be controlled. So ask yourself now, how many times have you rewritten your reality just to keep the peace? How many times have you accepted blame for something you didn't do? Because the argument wasn't worth it. And if you keep living this way, who will you be a year from now? A stronger man, or just a shadow of yourself, shaped by her chaos? At some point, every man who's been trapped in chaos hits a breaking moment. It's not always dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet, like sitting in your car after another fight, staring at the steering wheel, realizing you don't even know what the argument was about anymore. Sometimes it's sudden, like hearing her laugh at your pain during a fight and feeling something inside you snap. Or maybe it creeps up slowly, like a constant fatigue, until one day you wake up and admit, I'm done being the punching bag. That's when the shift begins, the awareness that chaos isn't love, and survival means reclaiming yourself. You need to hear this clearly. The woman who thrives on chaos will never give you permission to leave the cycle. She will promise change when she feels you pulling away. She'll say things like, I'll do better, or I know I've been difficult. But the moment you forgive, the storm returns. Why? Because chaos isn't her phase, it's her comfort zone. And if you keep waiting for her to outgrow it, you'll waste years bleeding out your energy, hoping for a peace that never comes. The only escape is emotional detachment. You must stop measuring your worth by her moods. Stop tying your happiness to her approval. Stop negotiating with her chaos like it's a fair contract. Instead, you decide what you will and won't allow. You decide that love without respect isn't love at all. You decide that peace isn't negotiable, it's your standard. And the moment you set that standard, everything changes. She no longer dictates your reality, you do. Here's the strategy whenever chaos strikes. Remind yourself of the bigger picture. A man's life is not built in the storms of her emotions. It's built in the clarity of his own mission. While she's busy trying to pull you into endless drama, you're focused on building your health, your finances, your skills, your purpose. That's how you cut her control. Not by fighting her battles, but by refusing to let them derail your own. The man who is rooted in his mission cannot be uprooted by a woman's storm. But this doesn't mean you harden into bitterness. Detachment isn't coldness, it's control. It's the ability to feel love without losing yourself. It's looking at her tears, her anger, her games, and calmly thinking, this doesn't move me off center. And paradoxically, the more you embody that calm detachment, the more she feels drawn to you. Chaos addicts secretly crave a man they can't shake. But here's the difference: you're not calm to win her. You're calm because that's who you are. If she respects it, fine. If not, you walk. And when you walk with clarity. No pleading, no begging, no explaining yourself to someone who never listened in the first place. You leave because the price of staying is too high. You leave because her storm doesn't deserve your steady heart. You leave because you finally understand she didn't break you. She revealed what you were too afraid to protect. And that is your peace, your power, your self-respect. This is the end of the cycle, the end of mistaking chaos for passion, the end of believing that her drama defines your worth. From this moment, you stand as a man who doesn't bend for storms but builds in silence. Because when you choose detachment over addiction, you win the only battle that matters, the battle for yourself. She didn't break you. She revealed what you were too afraid to protect.